and he lets out this bellowing, like, it's almost the echolocation level of, like, level of, like, a scream if a shark could scream.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
However...
Hello everyone and welcome back to Survive This Crit RPG edition. Now let's pick it up and see where Agent Casey and Agent Nick and Captain Quint left off on their battle against Bruce, aka the shark.
And he shakes you out of his mouth, but it's while your whole body's been doing this and shaking around and you're just thrown about 20 feet in front of you. But now you are losing oxygen rapidly.
Okay. I am going... You did not say I dropped the rifle.
You did not drop the rifle.
I'm like, smile, you son of a... And am going to fire at his open mouth as he comes barreling down on me for leftovers.
Love. Okay, go ahead and roll some kick some ass.
That is another 7. I am blowing a luck point.
Okay.
That at 12.
Perfect. Okay. So you release, and it hits him in the nose. There is definitely some pain there. You hear him go. You see his head and his neck thrashing, and it spins. His whole body is clearly in pain. However, as I mentioned, his armor is 2, so he only takes 1 harm when this normally would be 3 harm.
I just had an idea. I want to try something crazy.
Okay, I love crazy. Crazy is my favorite.
So, like, I have hit him in the head, in the nose, with the harpoon. I now have a useless harpoon gun in my hands. Is there a way I could, like, as his mouth is wide open, like, could I jab it into his mouth to make it so that he cannot shut his mouth again? Like, prop it, like, bar it open with the rifle.
I like that. You know, I don't know if it would last long term, but let's see if you could roll and act as if it's maybe a knife. And we would use the damage as if it's a knife, but roll some kicks some ass. That would be really interesting.
Okay. Like, for the record, I'm not going so much for injury as debilitation. Like, I want to give him a handicap. We will see how that goes with a 7. So now I'm just really close to his mouth. While I tried did not so great.
So you jam with, there's this overwhelming sense of courage that you have for a moment there, and you jam the pointed end of the harpoon gun into the roof of his mouth, and he lets out this bellowing, like, it's almost the echolocation level of, like, level of, like, a scream if a shark could scream.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
However, as you're trying to stick the butt end of the harpoon gun in between its teeth, you find your scuba suit, the edge of it getting stuck onto his teeth. And so you are currently, his mouth is currently stuck, but you are also stuck on his mouth. I am going to jump back to Agent Nick as Agent Casey is thrashing
regretting choices.
with regretting choices down there. Agent Nick, what are you up to at this point?
Well, I was trying to look for chum. You didn't specify. Was there chum in the freezer?
There was chum. It was mostly like really moldy leftovers, but it would suffice. It's like old fish leftovers.
Perfect. That's exactly what chum is. Awesome. Okay, so I grabbed the bucket of chum. I grab the last scuba tank, and you said there was another harpoon gun, correct?
Casey has the one harpoon gun on board and the other harpoon gun that they found on the other ship. So there are no other harpoon guns.
That's fire gun, though.
I said old reliable right here, my handgun.
You got a handgun.
I start to take some of that chum. I start slathering it on the air tank to get it all nice and bloody and smelling. Then I'm gonna start throwing. I'm gonna look at Quince and go, I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm gonna throw more chum out into the water to help attract the shark. And then finally, as I reach the bottom of the chum bucket, I then take the scuba tank that I covered in chum and I throw it into the water and I
Nice.
I'm just like a fisherman. I've laid out my baits.
I love that. Okay, why don't you investigate mystery to see if you can, or read about situation actually, to see if you can tell at this exact moment if Bruce is nearby. Quint, in all the meanwhile, is just drinking, sitting with his fishing rod. He's like, we're gonna catch ourselves some big prey. And just sitting and waiting.
Okay, I got a 9 for read a bad situation.
Nice. Okay, so you can
what am I
see.
able to tell?
You can see some thrashing water toward the edge of the chum line you've created.
Mhm.
Like the furthest chum, you see some splashes happening. What you don't realize, it's because it's Casey and the shark that are stuck together as one currently. But right when things are about to get bad, you notice that the shark breaks the surface, and you see that there's something lodged in his mouth. And you see Casey hanging on for dear life as the shark is trying to do everything to close his jaws. He's going, and it's trying with everything to close its mouth.
Okay. I need a distraction. I need something to draw the shark's attention right now. Away from Casey and towards my... Like, just in my general direction. If I could just get him to bite onto that scuba... The air tank there. Okay. How far away is the shark?
He's about 50 feet. Like, you guys are kind of drifted because no one was steering. So you've drifted a little bit away, but you've created a nice chum line. And he's definitely interested in the chum line, but he can't get any closer because he can't open and close his mouth.
Can't open and close his mouth. Okay.
It's stuck open.
It's stuck open.
For now.
For now.
For now.
And Casey is stuck, like, on the edge of his mouth, hanging on for dear life.
I look
Being
at
waterboarded, the
out.
shark is bobbing in and out of the water. Where Agent Casey is just like, underwater.
I mean, I do have the scuba gear that has been.
You do, but the
bitten
oxygen
open.
tank has been penetrated.
Okay.
So yeah, this is not safe to use.
I look at Quint and I go, "How good of a shot are you?"
I shot so many people in my life. So many. And fish. I shoot good. That's one thing I'm good at.
Can you shoot drunk?
I can not shoot sober, but I can shoot drunk.
At least you're useful for something, sir. Alright, I hand him my gun. I go, take good care of old Reliable here. When I'm gonna put...
Oh, this is a ladies' pea shooter. This is your gun?
I'm not trying to compensate for anything.
It's
And
not
it's-
about the size, sir. It's what you do with it.
That's what I should be saying. I look at him and go, I'm gonna get that scuba tank, that air tank, into the shark's mouth. When it's in the mouth, when it's in its mouth, and Casey and I have cleared the way, I need you to fire at the tank. We're gonna blow up that shark.
Am I shooting the shark or the tank?
Yes.
I don't think you're shooting the tank. I don't think the bullets are gonna be enough to take care of that shark.
Okay, I will shoot the tank with everything I've got.
Good. Don't miss. And I hand him the gun, and I go back, wearing my extra small, my extra small scuba gear, really tight on my thighs, just showing everything off. And I go and I dive back into the water, and I grab the scuba tank, and I just start to one-arm stroke towards Casey. I know there's a lot going on. Is there anything I should be aware of that's changing in the moment?
Well,
I'm
I
bleeding
would
a
say
lot.
that yeah, Casey's bleeding a lot. Casey is unstable. So the shark is also very interested in whatever the smell of blood is like creating this frenzy right here, because the shark smells human blood too. Why don't you roll protect someone as you're diving off the boat in this super tiny scuba suit and headed toward Casey, just so I can see how efficiently you make it over to Casey. Because I'll consider the swim to Casey as one move.
Okay. Would this qualify for my power of heart when fighting a monster? If I help someone, don't roll cool, but automatically help as though I'd rolled a 10.
Sure, I'd allow that. So,
Okay.
yeah, you like a superhero. Swan dive off the edge. You're swimming as fast as you can, and you reach Casey, who you first think that it's just the blood of Chum all over him. but you realize that there are wounds on Casey, and the shark seems to be enthralled by not only the smell of the fish blood, but more so the smell of Casey's blood.
I'm a nummy treat.
Ha! You're a treat.
So have I reached the shark and Casey now?
Yes, you've reached the shark and Casey.
Okay. So at that point, what I do is, you said his mouth was like stuck open, correct?
It's stuck open with a harpoon. Now that there's another person coming up too, and doesn't seem to be afraid of the shark, you notice that he's starting to thrash more in Casey's body. Casey, since you were unstable, I'm gonna say you go down one more harm, since it's been a while for Agent Nick to get out there, and your body is just thrashing in the waves at the will of Bruce the shark.
Okay, I want to jam the air tank into the shark's mouth.
Okay, why don't you roll kick some axe at this point to see if you can, or act under pressure would be fine too. Because it's more of an action than an attack.
Okay. Would any of this qualify under what could go wrong? Because that's my other move. Am I considered charging into immediate danger without No, I guess I am hedging my bets, aren't I?
Yeah, you are hedging your bets on that you will be able to do this.
Okay, so then...
There will be bad consequences if you don't pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so you want me to roll for which... Say the skill again?
I was gonna say probably act under pressure or over kick some ass, because it's up to you. I know you're using it as a weapon, so...
Okay, I'm gonna go.
But you're not the one.
My tough is better than my cool.
Okay.
I got a 7.
Oh no! Okay, so as you shove the tank in there, you dislodge the harpoon gun.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's got Casey's face. He's regaining the power of his jaws. And Casey, I will give you one move of your choice to try to get out of there before the jaws just clamp down on you.
So I am going to use Let's Get Out of Here to protect Nick and kick him away from the shark's mouth, because it is now like right on top of both of us. Like, save yourself is the me telling him what to do, because like I'm already like, you know, bleeding into the scuba mouthpiece, like save yourself.
Oh no.
As I like, if I can do a twofer, I'm gonna like try and jam the oxygen tank even further. Like, I hope you choke on it.
Why don't you roll? So I think you need to roll charm to help by telling someone what to do for Let's Get Out of Here, right?
That's true. Roll charm instead of tough.
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead and roll charm. Let's see how you do.
That is a 10, which becomes a 12.
Dang! Okay, so yeah, Nick, as you're trying to help Casey, you're delivered a kick to the stomach. As,
More of a
and
prod
Casey, like a gentle kick, like you're underwater, but it's enough that it pushes you back about 10 feet. And Casey, you manage to pivot your body and shove the tank further into Bruce, as you're saying, choke on this. Nick,
and Nick
I'm
is
also
jealous because he got because Casey was able to get a cool line in, and I had one all prepared. Dang it.
Okay, Agent Nick, I will give you one move to do something before this turns into a frenzy.
Okay. Well, do I save Casey or do I run away? I try and save Casey.
So right after Casey pushes you away 10 feet, you're just going to ignore it and come back, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. I stick my hand out. I go, come on, chum! And I use the power of heart to pull him out.
Oh my god.
Okay, so because you use the power of heart, which is, you know, the move to help someone, you don't roll cool, you act as if you rolled a 10. With that, you manage to strip Casey free from the tooth that he is stuck on. You do notice, though, that he's got, like, quite a deep cut forming on his heel where he had been stabbed by the shark's tooth. And as you pull him away, the shark's jaws close. Where you saved him saved Casey in the nick of time as the jaws.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, you. And Casey, you are, as we mentioned, you are unstable. You're not doing great. So, Agent Nick, it is up to you. Why don't you roll a toss to see if you can assist swimming Casey up to the top to the ship.
That is 10 feet away.
Casey is like got 2 health left, and two okays left. I guess.
You fool! Why did you cook? Oh, come in!
Never leave a man behind. And I use my Boy Scout swimming merit badge skills to side stroke and carry Casey with me towards the boat. And as I'm doing that, I'm yelling back at Quint, "If you see the opening in the mouth, fire! Fire at the mouth!"
And please roll your tough for me and to see how well you can do.
I got a 9 on my tough.
A 9. Okay. So as you're swimming, you manage to swim the 50 feet unbelievably well. But the shark is right behind you, and you pass Casey's limp arm to Quint, and Quint manages to pull Casey aboard. But Agent Nick, Quint turns his attention toward the shark because its mouth is coming open right behind you. So the shark drags you back under the water, and you will take 2 harm. And mild bite damage in your left leg.
No, not mild bite damage. You're fool. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure to come back next Friday to find out what happens to our agents and Captain Quint. Like and subscribe. Bye everybody.